Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going back to the Dream Realm, which is today King Croaker boss, and we will be trying teams without REINIER and with REINIER, talking about which I think are the best team comps to run depending on which heroes you have. Right now we're at rank 2 and most of the people have attacked for today, so this is probably the rank that we are going to maintain. 37 billion damage with the REINIER team. But we're going to try some different options we can use without REINIER as well. And in the district right now, we are rank 5. A lot of people have gotten up to 37 billion damage. Because now that the baseline level is 500 for the Dream Realm, now a lot of people have caught up and you're competing. For me, I'm competing with more people, but for maybe people who were at lower than 500, now you're able to compete with the top rankers and even take their spot in the rankings. So that is a good thing. It becomes more competitive and more accessible for people who don't have really crazy levels on their heroes. Okay, so this was the team I used to get my highest score. For the King Croaker boss, you have to run Thorin because he counters the insta-kill of the boss. There's no replacement for Thorin. Smokey is the best healer who also deals a good amount of damage. REINIER is the best debuffer for this boss if you have him at Mythic Plus. If you don't have a Mythic Plus, then we will talk about replacements, but it will depend which damage dealers you're running, because then you want to get the factional bonus, because REINIER here is getting the factional bonus for us. And those 10% stats do make a pretty big difference, so you want to try and get that. Evocation spell has been the best for me. I tried Quick Blade even with a double like attack physical damage dealer comp, but I got much less damage with Quick Blade because your team ends up dying earlier. Evocation spell is really helpful for keeping your team alive for longer and also increases your damage. So sometimes like there's not even that much of a difference in damage between Evocation and Quick Blade. Kroer and Merrily are going to be your best for all-time maximum damage to this boss, and that is why this is like the endgame team comp. I ran with Kroer getting buffed up by the attack buff so that his shields can be a little bit more powerful to keep my team alive. And he ended up doing even more damage than Merrily in this comp. But Merrily with the attack buff is also a fine option, it's up to you. So if we can't use REINIER, then it has to be a light bearer hero to get the factional bonus. And that really leaves the best option in the new season, which is Lucius. So for my first team testing, I want to try Lucius and see if this can work out well for us. I have no idea how well this is going to work. Lucius is good because his seasonal skill will give us the haste and damage buff. But the damage buff and the haste buff will apply if all of your team is alive after 40 seconds into a battle. I don't know exactly how this works, whether if, for example, Thorin dies, which he's going to die around like maybe 20-25 seconds left on the boss. I don't know if that will then terminate our buffs that we get from this seasonal skill, or this seasonal skill just triggers at 40 seconds, and if everyone is alive, then you get the damage buff for the rest of the fight. That would make a difference, because then he wouldn't be buffing your damage up by as much. But either way, we're going to try it. He also will help keep your team alive with the shielding. And in the lower levels, like maybe if you're level 480, 490 and you're trying to put together a team like this, having those extra shields will be very helpful for keeping your team alive. And basically, they can only be provided by heroes like Lucius or Coco. But Coco doesn't fit in the factional synergy of this specific team comp. But we will do some testing with Odi as well, because Odi is not a bad damage dealer to run in the King Croaker boss, but Kroer and Merrily will be better options. So if a team like this with Lucius can out-damage an Odi Coco team, then you're better off running a team like this. So really priorities, like we have talked about before, are Mythic Plus on Thorin and Smokey both. The Soul Pact is helpful for allowing Thorin to then have a third life and tank the third and final insta-kill of the boss. But if you're running Lucius here, Lucius can tank the third insta-kill and it wouldn't be that much of an issue. Okay, yeah, so Thorin dies with 24 seconds left on the clock. We don't know if we have the damage buff from Lucius or not, but I feel like you would have it, like it just remains there. That shield I think might have kept Merrily alive from Lucius. And as you can see, if you can survive until the end of the King Croaker boss and you're damaging right up until the end, you're going to get a really high damage output. 34.5 billion damage. Take a look at the damage chart. Merrily did more than Kroer, so I think in this comp it would probably be better to have Merrily getting your attack buff. But Kroer will also benefit from that attack buff, so it is up to you. Smokey also contributed a good amount of damage, and Lucius protected our team very, very well, and effectively everyone was alive up until the end, and that is really important. So that was 34.5 billion. That would put us in rank 5. basically for Callus' position, because he would move up. We're rank 2 right now. And Wooster is another person who has like, he has a higher level on me than my account, but he doesn't have Rainier at Mythic Plus, so he might have been running a team like that. I can also ask him for future videos, and we can discuss that. 34.5 billion would put us at rank 20, just rank 20 in the district, so you would not really be able to compete for top 20, but maybe top 10 in your server with that score. And I definitely don't think there's a bad team. I think this is a good option. And oh, no one's getting attack buff up here because we have no Rainier. Okay, so that's why I guess merely out damaged the Kroer. Okay, next up we will try a Coco team, but if you're going to try Coco, then I think you're going to have to run a team like this to get the factional bonus, because I think giving up on that factional bonus is not as good as just running Odi. Odi and Kroer both deal a high amount of damage. It really is up to preference which one you have the most built up and ascended that you should be running in this boss. Again, we'll go for the evocation spell for survivability. And here we go. And I think, again, with Coco, you're not really going to have any issues surviving here either. So, and if you have Coco at Mythic Plus especially, you're probably never going to die. But it's just going to be a question of whether the damage can compete with Kroer. Can Odi's damage compete with Kroer or not in the endless boss mode? But definitely, I think these are going to be your two key teams you run, and you will need merely Kroer at Mythic Plus. Odi should be at Mythic Plus or Supreme Plus ideally for his damage. Merely and Kroer do not need to be at Supreme Plus. Their Supreme Plus effect doesn't increase their damage at all, other than the Ascension tier stat bonus. Smokey Thorin ideally want to be both at Mythic Plus, Smokey for the damage and Thorin for the Soul Pact. And Coco does really well at Mythic Plus. Lucius can be used even before Mythic Plus. Okay. So far 32 almost billion damage, but it just comes down to the final burst, which will be happening after we break through the boss's shield that is right now. And can we beat the 34.5 billion damage? It looks like we're on track to beat it. We're all surviving with the Coco. I think this is better. Yeah, this is better than the Lucius team. Okay, so if you have Odi, oh wow. They're almost 35.5 billion damage with this team. Maybe it's kind of like RNG based which one is going to do better for you, but Odi dealt a huge amount of damage here, almost tying merely. And Odi is not even at level 511 for me, and that will give a pretty decent stat bonus, because at that first level of the next 10, you're going to be getting quite a big stat buff. So this team has even more potential for endless mode. Once all of my heroes are at 511, Smokey's damage and Odi's damage would be a little bit higher. Thorin's damage even would be a bit higher. So I recommend this to be the top team. And then the second best team will probably be Lucius and Kroer, and it will depend which heroes you have ascended. And now I guess we should just go and test out the Rainier team to see how it does. But for the Rainier team,
the world
I have tried it with Odi. I think the thing is, okay, Rainier's debuff is going to increase all damage sources by 25% onto the boss, and for those type of debuffs like Rainier and Thorin debuffs, I think true damage dealers do better, because the defensive debuffs, like for example Cassidy for magic defense or Kroer for physical defense, do better for heroes which do not have true damage. But for true damage, I think the Rainier Mythic Plus is better. I don't know, I guess we could also try Odi, but I want to try this team with merely being buffed up with the attack buff and see how it does. And again, there is room for improvement with this team once we get to 511. But then pretty much your levels will not matter so much, because your level boost that you get is at the first of each level. And then to get like to 521, I think that will be a long time in the future. It seems like after level 560 of your season resonance level, every 20 levels you gain a bonus level, so you would need to get up to like 780 resonance level to get to 521, which basically, that I don't even know if that will happen. It probably will happen before the end of the season, but it isn't something like happening anytime soon. So 511 is basically your final point, which will happen at 560 resonating level of your entire team. Okay, as you can tell, survivability is really difficult with this team. We sometimes get really close to dying, and that's why we're running the evocation spell. And we're still barely alive, which is good. We just need to survive. Oh, Smokey died a bit early there. And so I think, yeah, I my best time was with, or my best damage was with Kroer being buffed up by the attack buff, because I was like, his shields can help keep my team alive a little bit better because they scale off of his own attack. But you can try this team with RNG. It was able to get my best score of 37.2 billion. Maybe it could even get higher than that. But I guess looking at that, I think probably you will need Kroer to try and keep your team alive. If you have, for example, Odi, that will not provide any shielding for the Smokey, and then Smokey is gonna die, and once Smokey dies, your damage is really reduced. So I think this is the best team version with Kroer getting the attack buff, and once we're all at like level 511, you can get a pretty good score. We were able to get 37.2 billion, which is high, but very impressive 35.5 billion with the Coco and Odi. So I think that is the best team you can run, and that would put us actually in rank 3 of our server, and in our district, 35.5 would put us at rank 12, which is a big boost. So anyway guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope it was helpful and it was useful for you. Good luck in the King Croaker boss. And that is going to be it for this video. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe because we upload daily AFK journey videos with updates and guides to help your progression and keep you up to date with all the latest information. But thank you all for the support and watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.